Our headlines today. The Conservative MP Chris Pincher resigns as a Deputy Chief Whip, saying he's embarrassed himself and drank far too much. A newspaper alleges he groped two men.
A mother, stepfather and a 14-year-old begin life sentences for murdering 5-year-old Logan Mwangi.
On the 50th anniversary of the UK's first Pride March, we'll look at what's changed for the LGBT plus community.
Good morning. Is a holiday abroad worth the hassle? After a week of fresh flight cancellations and strikes, I'll dig into the detail to bring you a reality check on exactly how likely your trip is to be disrupted.
Good morning from Wimbledon, where there's a real buzz about the Brits after Katie Boulter and Liam Brodie both caused stunning upsets to reach the third round, making it now a total of 4 British players left in the singles.
And we'll visit Norfolk, where these bee-eater birds, normally found in Africa, are making a disused quarry their home.
Nurses and pharmacists can now certify sick notes to help reduce the pressure on GPs. The documents, now called fit notes, provide evidence to employers about a patient's condition and ability to work. The new system applies to England, Scotland and Wales, with Northern Ireland expected to follow.
Let's have a look at this morning's front pages. Then the Sun leads on the news that Tory Deputy Chief Whip Chris Pincher has resigned. That story featuring on the front of The Guardian too, which labels it the latest scandal to hit Westminster. Mail says Mr Pincher is stepping down after groping 2 men. The Telegraph also leads on that resignation, headlining it as drunken groping. Now, the front of the Financial Times focuses on the US Supreme Court ruling that will significantly hamper Joe Biden's climate change targets. We'll have more on that later. The newspaper has an exclusive that former Prime Minister Theresa May is urging Boris Johnson to ban trans conversion therapy. The teenager jailed for murdering his 5-year-old stepbrother Logan Mwangi features on the front of the Metro. The Mirror leads on that story too with a headline, "Innocent Lost in House of Evil," while the Daily Express asks how could this tragic little boy be failed so badly, as questions arise on why authorities failed to protect Logan. Now the Daily Star reads, "Nurse Bernie's out of bed again," this referencing Bernie Ecclestone's controversial claims that he would take a bullet for Vladimir Putin.
The Mail is leading with the resignation of the Conservative Party's Deputy Chief Whip, Chris Pincher, over alleged drunken behaviour. The paper says Boris Johnson faces a growing backlash for failing to suspend the whip following the allegations.
The Daily Telegraph reports the Education Secretary, Nadhim Zahawi, has asked the Treasury for a 9% pay rise for teachers in an attempt to avoid strike action.
Meanwhile, The Times reports that Number 10 plans to cut VAT to curb inflation and help households with the cost of living crisis. The paper says Steve Barclay, the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, has suggested a temporary cut to the current 20% charge on the majority of transactions.
And in the world of television, the ad breaks could get longer. That's one of the most read stories on the BBC News website, all part of a review of broadcasting rules by the regulator Ofcom.